Hello everybody. I just wanted to show you a little bit about the weather. Okay, so we are in our weather unit. My name is Mr. Kiser, and welcome class. We want to talk about meteorology first. Meteorology is a study of weather. Those are the men and women you see on TV who are giving the forecast and on the news each night. You can find them on the web also. As part of your homework, you'll be watching the weather every night for the month of January, and you're reporting back out what the weather would be, and you're going to report that in class the next day. We'll do that in class also to give you some practice. I'm on the next slide. The difference between weather and climate. Weather is something that changes all the time. Climate happens over a long period of time. For example, weather could be rainy, and then 10 minutes later, it's sunny. So the weather changes constantly. That's why we want to talk about the weather and how it changes all the time. Climate is easy to predict because it happens over a long period of time in a certain area. Like the climate of the desert is hot and dry. The climate of the rainforest is wet and humid. The climate of North Carolina has 4 seasons: summer, winter, fall, and spring. Next slide. The sun, of course, the sun gives us our energy, and we're going to talk about how the sun shines and radiates right onto the earth, and the angle that it radiates makes a big difference in what season it is in Northern and Southern Hemisphere. This diagram, this picture shows you the sun's rays coming in, and as you can see, the earth is round and the sun's rays shine straight onto the earth. At the equator, in the middle of the earth, you see, let's get that. So this exit. Okay, hold on one second. Get back into my presentation. Okay. The further to the pole you get, the North Pole or the South Pole, the less the sun is going to be shining in directly overhead of you. At the equator, if you look straight up, the sun is shining directly overhead of you. But at the poles, the South and North Pole, the sun is shining more at an angle, like almost at the horizon, and not giving you very much warm sunlight. The Earth's heating is imbalanced because it rotates. It's daytime, it's nighttime, it's warm, it's cool, and also the tilt of the axis causes our different seasons and temperatures across the Earth. And the Earth is always trying to find a balance, but since it's always moving, there's never a balance. That's why we have different weather changings. Here's a really good diagram of the tilt of the Earth. You see the axis running through the Earth. It's not a real axis. It's not a real pole the Earth spins on. That's an imaginary axis. But the sunlight is real. And as you can see at the very top, at the North Pole, there's hardly any sunlight at all. This would be the wintertime months of the North Pole and the winter in North America where we are. The South Pole, or the South America, they have more sunlight. This is their warm season. This is their summertime, and this is our wintertime. So this picture is what our wintertime looks like, and our wintertime in the Northern Hemisphere, above the equator. All right, seasons. As this Earth goes around the sun. It goes around the sun 1 time per year. That's what makes our year. It goes around the sun 1 time per year. So the Earth is always tilted at that axis. It always tilted 23.5 degrees. And that tilt, sometimes the Earth, I'm talking about sometimes the Northern Hemisphere faces the sun. Like in the summertime, you see that on the 3rd diagram down. And sometimes the Northern Hemisphere is facing away from the sun, like in the 1st diagram, or the winter. So if it's summer here in the Northern Hemisphere where we are, it's winter in the Southern Hemisphere. So if it's fall in the northern, it's spring in the southern. If it's spring in the northern, it's fall in the southern. Okay, air pressure. Air pressure is a real thing. You know, gravity pulls everything down to the earth. Well, gravity also pulls the air onto the earth. It holds our air on our earth and doesn't let it just escape out into space. So, air pressure is the weight of the earth on our, stop recording.